Is it recording right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you think of points race number 1 so far there, Dallas?
Well, it's been impressive because they had a lot of cars out here today.
We do have a good turnout today. I haven't gotten close to doing 50 in a while. We almost broke it in both classes.
That's good.
Heck of a turnout. I haven't gotten to film as much as I'd like because I've had to sign everybody up for points and do all various other stuff I've been doing.
Yeah.
But
And the weather was nice up until, well, I don't know, this afternoon, and then it got cloudy and even cooler.
I don't know, all these guys right here running around in shorts and t-shirts.
I know, I don't know how they're doing it.
So, it's what, about 50 degrees now?
Yeah, it's probably 50.
There you go. So I wonder what happened to him. Oh, he's waiting to pick up his crew chief there. But yeah, this is what it's usually, when a bracket race is right at Northeast Dragway, this is what it's like.
Well, that's good. This is what it was 2 years ago?
Which used to be every weekend for probably 15 years. This is what I've been trying to get it back to.
Well, so last year the weather was abysmal. We got rained out a lot, right? And it was kind of looking like that from the beginning. Like, oh no, this is round number 2, right?
Yes. So how you doing with your no-name nationals?
Oh, No Name Nationals is blowing up pretty good.
Cool.
Matter of fact, you know, we were just kind of, when we started doing that thing, it was supposed to be just kind of like a friendly get-together deal. And there has been people supporting it out of the woodwork. I mean, just coming out of everywhere. This is something that should have been done 5 years ago. Why did it take so long? You guys did an excellent job putting this together. So, but we just picked up our first sponsor for a class. Hoping to get many more, and then hopefully we can get a sponsor for the whole event. That would be really nice.
There you go. Well, that's kind of what happened here today. I actually didn't have juniors on the ticket, and one of the local businesses called up and said, hey, what will it take to get a junior race going? So we did a limited to 10, which later we expanded to 15.
Yeah.
And we're basically an invitational junior race.
Yeah, impromptu invitational.
Exactly.
Those sometimes turn out to be the best things.
Yeah.
But
Now we probably need to wait till they get through.
we can. It's no big deal. I'm not going anywhere.
Well, I'm back here in the AHRA booth with Dallas. Sorry about the angle change. I had to go film a little bit. We had some breakage up on the top end. So while they're cleaning that up and it's quiet, we figured it'd be a good time. Dallas is warming his dinner up on the manifold of his truck. That's the motor you may hear running behind us, the 393 and the big white Ford. So, which he did drive all the way here from outside of Nashville.
Yeah.
To our nice little quaint hamlet of North Carolina.
That's a great place. I really like this.
It is. It's nice here.
Yeah, you told me last time I was here that Wolfman Jack is literally buried up the street.
He is about, I don't know, maybe 5 miles, 6 miles from here.
Yeah, so I need to go by there and shoot some pictures.
As long as you don't go up in the yard, they don't care.
Oh, well, is there a different place?
No.
Isn't the cemetery in the yard?
It's one grave right in the front of the house.
Oh, really?
Right, like 10 feet off the side of the road.
Huh.
Yep.
Very He's from here until you brought that up last year. I thought that was really interesting.
Well, he wasn't from here originally, but he ended up here.
Well, this is where his pirate radio station was, right? Right. So that's a pretty interesting part of American history.
That's where it was, right here behind that house.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, been working real hard the last 2 or 3 years to get us a good crowd and get our bracket program built back up. We're always on the search for sponsors. We got lucky this time. Some local businesses stepped up and helped us out. So we were able to get in a pretty good crowd. I wish it was a little warmer today. I mean, it's what, 50 degrees now, 54 degrees, something like that.
Yeah, I think the high was only 60 or 61 today.
On the good side, the cars are fast.
They're fast.
Track's working pretty good. So.
As long as they can keep heat in it, and what it looks like is more or less parts are giving up.
Yes. It's been kind of like the Carnage Nationals instead of the No-Name Nationals.
Yeah.
We've averaged one around this time, it seems like, which is incredibly high rate for here. We usually don't break this much stuff.
No, I haven't seen this much breakage here since I started coming here.
But you know, a lot of these cars, a lot of these guys that are here today, they haven't raced since the whole country
pandemic
shut down.
Pandemic happened.
Yeah,
and all
so,
that.
you know, they might have a little rust on something, or a bearing stuck, or something was just starting to go and hadn't had the opportunity. I wonder if that's playing in a hand there.
That may be the case. I mean, my race car's been up on blocks ever since I started doing AHRA. I didn't have the money or the time.
Should have brought it with you.
Well, the big one is, no, it would eat me out of house and home fuel-wise. But, you know, I don't want to race. One, I don't think it's right for somebody to race in their own stuff, right? I think that's kind of BS, because if you ever won $1, everybody else there would question.
It would always be suspect.
Yeah, it would always question if you really want it, right? The other thing is, it'd look bad if I went and raced in NHRA or IHRA stuff when I'm doing my own racing association. So, plus I got tired of paying all their fees for nothing really.
That was his first time out with that new car, I think.
Oh, really?
I think so.
What did it break?
Usually runs, I don't know.
It was smoking.
But it put up a terrible amount of smoke.
Yeah.
It was a motor or transmission. It may have just been something simple as a hose. But it didn't look like there was too much mess all over the track down there. So.
Huh. Well, usually if there's smoke and there's no oil on the track, generally you probably burn a piston.
Yep. Or transmission.
The transmission smokes too if it's got out the vent tube.
Yep. An amazing, a large amount of smoke through a vent tube. But no, we got a pretty good night tonight. I think the cold temperatures are going to keep there from being any more spectators, but other than that, we should be all right. Well, they're firing back up.
That is a good sign if you're a race fan.
That's it. I guess we'll find out how good this microphone is with us talking and them cars running.
I don't know. I'm thinking it's probably pretty good. I mean, I know that's one of the best microphones you can buy. I have 2 of them.
He said his 5 race cars started.
Dallas and I continue as the track begins to shut down for the evening. Please excuse the lighting or lack thereof.
We got 29 minutes of video.
29 minutes left that you can edit out.
That's right. So we did good today.
Today was a fantastic day.
Yes, it was.
A lot of cars, a lot of racers.
Yep, Mike's on.
The spectators were kind of nah, because it was
too cold.
Yeah, it was too cold. It was only 60 degrees.
If it had been 10 degrees warmer, we'd have done good on spectators.
Yeah, I think so.
So,
but yeah, all in all, it turned out to be a really big, fantastic day for here at Northeast Dragway.
I've never seen anybody kick his own ass in a drag race before.
Dylan Phelps.
Yes.
Literally was the one-legged man in the ass-kicking contest, kicking his own ass.
Yes.
So,
driving 2 cars and ends up in the finals.
Yeah, against himself.
Against himself. With a bye run.
Yeah.
Anything can happen in drag racing.
Those are the guys you don't. It's like when you get that kind of problem, you don't necessarily feel sorry for them, but you're like, man, I really wish it would have been somebody else up against them.
Yes, yes. But it worked out. The other guy had to bye run, so
yeah.
By the rules, as long as they each made their bypass, they could race each other and still get their points.
And
so
Daryl Scarborough won the box class, and in that. What, Pickpocket Malibu?
Pickpocket Malibu.
And that sucker was dancing all over the place. It had to be fun to drive.
That was his first win.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Okay, well,
and his teammate
earned.
And his teamate Matt won
the 590. Yeah, the index.
And that was definitely his first win.
Yeah.
So you had both first line construction cars in the winner's circle for 2 different classes.
Both of them their first win.
Exactly.
So how can that be a bad day?
I think that was Daryl. I think that was Daryl's first overall event win.
Okay.
I have to double check that with Steve, but I think so. I know it was Matt's definitely. So, and he's worked real hard to get there. So.
Well, it shows. It paid off. But it was a spectacular day out here. There was a lot of people here, a lot of cars. The juniors, there was what, 12 juniors?
9.
9? I thought there was
there was 12 said they were coming. We ended up with 9.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And 2 of them were fresh junior racers, and it's like their first real race. They come to get their paperwork cleared so they could get their license, their comp license.
Well, and it was a lot of them was your regular junior racers that are
Right.
normally out here.
Exactly. So, and a lot of new faces.
Yeah, well, we had a new food vendor,
Yes.
Wings and Things.
Wings
was
and
out here.
Things. We had a couple of new sponsors. Well, one new sponsor, and that was Farmville Collision out of Williamsburg. But Tri-County Forklift was kind of a returning sponsor, but they race here all the time, and that's a good thing.
Well, let's see, the ones that I saw running a lot today, besides Dylan, who was driving 3 cars and...
2 cars.
Oh, was it 2 cars?
It was 2 cars.
Okay, still he was jostling cars, but was Jerry Fair went out quite a few rounds.
Yep. Jerry Gray went quite a few rounds.
The normal guys that are the heavy hitters in top class, like Donnie Edwards, I saw go out probably second, third
Second
round,
or third round.
which is unusual. He's
Yeah.
normally one of the last cars.
Exactly. Exactly. But it's also the first time a lot of them have been out this year.
Oh yeah. Well, and today
So-
it was, it's a little bit different than normal.
Right.
It really was. There was a lot of cars, but then there was a lot of carnage. There was
Right.
a lot of broken rear ends,
One engine,
one
head
engine,
gasket,
one transmission,
head gasket.
yeah, and a head gasket.
So we were averaging 1 around, but they finally got through it.
Yeah.
And some of those, told me it was, maintenance. And the one rear
I
end.
figured some of them was just like, hey, it's fresh, and I didn't have something set up
Well,
right.
the rear end, he has the new rear end sitting in the floor at home to go in the car, converting it to a 9-inch, and just hadn't done it yet.
Well,
So now
it's going to happen.
Now he's got his encouragement.
Yeah,
The
now
hard
it's got to
way.
happen, and by the way, you can't sell that other one.
And the track crew did an awesome job, even with the lower temperatures. The track was on kill all day.
It was good. It was good. The first few runs were a little sketchy because the track hadn't got a lot of heat in it,
And it was green.
and it was fresh for this year. So, but after those first couple squiggles, everything else looked pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. If I could do this every time I do one of these, we'd have it made.
I think so. The biggest thing about running any kind of racers is that you don't generally get the appreciation, and that's one thing. If you look at your track crew, most people, they're blind to the track crew,
Right.
Unless there's a
Well,
problem.
the racers here are a little different than that. They do thank the track crew on occasion.
Yeah.
And I had a couple today tell me thanks for continuing to work to help grow it
Well,
back.
they
to
did
where
a
it used
damn
to
good
be.
job today, I
They
think.
did. They did.
The number of cars that we had here, which was, there was almost 50 in each class, right?
There was almost 50 in top, or box, as y'all like to call it, and a little over 40, or right at 40, in foot brake, or no box.
Okay, that's a good
And
turn.
then, 9, 7, 9 590s,
And then
9 street cars,
9 street cars.
and 9 junior dragsters.
You're in the 9s.
Hey, it was 999 day. So next weekend we got another. Next weekend's Brock Promotions, Baddest of the Bad. That's one of our bigger races of the year. He'll be here Friday and Saturday, but Friday's what they call Elite Test.
So is this all a heads-up grudge deal?
It's grudge deal, but he's got a gambler's race. He's got a big, I forget what all he's got on the flyer, but he's usually got a gambler's race, big tire, small tire, and then any grudge races to get put together along the way.
Yeah.
I think the lights might go out on
Yeah,
us
we're
in a
about to
second.
lose some lighting here, folks.
So we'll just see how it goes. We'll have to turn on some lights if it does. Yeah, it was a good day overall.
So what do you got coming up this year that's big, Chris?
Let's see.
You got your double deuce?
I got the 10th annual Double Deuce coming up. Been doing that one for 10 years. That's in July, the weekend after the 4th. And then
That's 100% put on by Speed Oasis, right?
right now it is. I have no sponsors for that one right now.
All right,
So
well,
I'm-
get in touch with Chris and get your sponsorship lists out there.
And then in next month, I've got the Twin Nickel Challenge, which is twin $5,000 races in the same day. So, top and mod.
You got sponsors for that one?
Not yet, but I haven't put the information out yet.
Okay.
So, I can't say nothing about that one. And we're having 10 5s along with the double deuce.
That light on right there in the breaker.
Uh-huh.
Bottom of that pole. When you get after a while, when you're ready to shut it down, just cut that one out.
And this is Tony coming up here, track manager. He's trying to shut down for the night. We're shooting a YouTube video while we're sitting here.
Do what now?
We're shooting a YouTube video.
Oh, you didn't even go over there to the breaker and shut it all off?
See that breaker on the bottom?
Yeah.
Just knock that down.
Just throw that arm down.
Oh, on the one on the bottom? Okay.
Yeah.
They're sneaking right at the back. When you get done, keep your lights on, do what you got to do, but there's still people here.
Okay.
I mean, everything else, man.
All right.
Hey, thank you, buddy.
See you later, Tony.
Have a good one, Tony. A lot of people always ask me, why do I continue to promote races? Why don't, it's difficult as it is, having to coordinate everything. And I'm sure you're dealing with it too, with the no-name nationals, getting on top of everything and making sure everything's on time and coordinated and all that. And it is a handful sometimes. But then when you have a day like this and everybody's all happy and you get a first-time winner out there. It
goes pretty smooth.
Exactly. And overall, today went very well.
It was. I would have to say this was a successful day.
Yeah, definitely.
This was a very successful day for here at Northeast Dragway.
Yes.
So, and for a season opener for AHRA performance-based payout, I wouldn't want any other race, to tell you the truth. This went really smooth.
Right.
And we're here. It is. We're done at virtually 10:30 on a Saturday night.
Right. Everybody can get home while they're still awake.
Yeah, and it doesn't normally happen like that when you have a big car count.
No, it doesn't. So, and it's a nice night. It's a little chilly, but nice night. Track was working good. When I get the video edited up and you see the actual track stuff going on, we were having a lot of 2 and 3 foot wheel stands today.
That Chevelle, that white Chevelle,
Yep.
in the finals with Dylan.
Yeah.
That sucker was up there. He left good.
And that last pass Pickpocket made.
Yeah, that one
He was
up
almost
there.
he was almost on the bumper.
Yeah, and it was squirrely.
But he won.
Yeah, I'm telling you, that ride right there is the kind that when you get out of the car, you don't ask where's my check. You're like, hey, run to the truck and give me some new underwear. That sucker was all over the place.
It was, but Daryl's a good driver.
It's fun to watch.
It is.
Really fun to watch. So as a spectator, those are the ones you come to live. You come to the track to see.
Yep.
But the finals for both of those classes were really good finals. Nobody red lighted.
No.
And it was all down to the stripe
within thousandths.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was tight.
Margin of victory between Dylan and the white Chevelle, I believe, Dave and the white Chevelle was what? 007?
Oh, really?
I think so.
So 7,000 separation, right? And then that white Chevelle had him by like 10 mile an hour.
Yeah.
So if there would have been an extra foot on the track, there wouldn't
He'd
have
have
been
got
it. Yeah, he would have got him. That's how tight it was. Yeah. It was a good race.
Yeah, I mean, that's more people would come and watch bracket racing if they understood it better. And when we were blessed for many years, we had Richie Bowden, our announcer. He just lived for this stuff. And he knew the name of every driver. He knew what car that driver drove. He knew the number of that driver's car. And he knew, quote, where they hailed from. And when he pulled to the line, he would say, like, let's take Dylan, for example. He'd say, driving the 1968 or 69 Chevelle, or 69 Nova, excuse me, hailing from Criswell, North Carolina, Dylan Phelps. He usually dials this, but the day he's running on, he's dialing a little better.
Yeah.
And Richie would do that, and I think what he was doing was getting the terms into people's head. And then when we had a downtime or something was broke, a lot of times he'd walk across the track, go over to the spectator side with his mic, and explain what a bracket race was. And exactly how come that rail just lost to that Pinto was his favorite example.
Right.
How come that Vegger, and that's what he called them, was Veggers. How come that little Chevy Vegger just beat that top fuel car? Because this is a bracket race and anything can happen.
Anything can go down the track.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Bracket racing is the fair way to do it where everybody can compete.
Right.
All in one group. Right. That's why Heads Up Racing took a big dive when bracket racing started, because it takes bucket loads of money to make a heads up competition go. A heads up car, competitive. So when racers actually started spending way more than what they had assumed, when bracket racing came out, that was the next big ticket. It wasn't until the invention of the tranny brake and two-step where the bracket racing started to take a downhill turn because it started becoming more computerized.
Well, it's like I remember going and watching Modified. You know, I've always run mod since I've been bracket racing at foot brake. And when I was a kid, there were no automatics in Modified.
Oh,
None.
really?
They were all stick shift cars. 4-speeds, Liberties, you know, there was a matter of fact, I think most of them had a rule that couldn't be a clutchless.
Well, we have today at this bracket race had 2 stick cars.
And they did well.
Yeah, there was the, what did you say it was? It was a Trans Am with a North Star engine in it.
Yeah, the little silver Trans Am.
Oh man, that sucker was a runner.
And
It sounded good.
and I believe Mike had to stick back in his Chevy too.
Huh.
So, but we used to have quite a few of them when the track first opened up, but they've slowly phased out. And you know, a lot of the younger guys, and not picking on them, but you know, they just haven't had the opportunity. A lot of them never even driven a stick before.
Yeah, well, they say right now that there's only 18% of the country can drive a stick shift manual, right? Well, out of those 18%, I'll bet you it's only one of the 18% that drag race.
Probably.
So that's probably why. But the other thing is the automatic has gotten so much cheaper
Right.
than the manual transmission.
And reliable.
Right, and the maintenance is so much less.
Right.
So,
You're not under there every 3 weekends putting a clutch in or at least adjusting it.
yeah, or adjusting the clutch weights.
Right.
That's the big one. So, well, we'll see how it goes, you know, from here.
Yeah.
This was a good start to the season for points.
Absolutely.
We'll see how it continues out. Last year at this time, we wouldn't have been racing because we've been rained out already.
Yes.
Like
We would be
2-3
floating. We'd be
times.
debating on getting race boats instead of race cars.
Yeah. I noticed Curtis lowered the Northeast Dragway sign about 20 foot.
Well, not quite that much, but it looks like that much, but it was really only about 3 feet.
Oh, really?
Right. The old sign stuck up more from our vantage point, and for those that have watched my track videos, the side of the track that says Northeast Dragway's always been the top of it's always been about 2-3 foot shorter than the track side, which has all the advertising on it. And we're making a conscientious effort as we're cleaning up and doing different things to improve the facility. We're redoing a lot of the signage, and we still got a spot available on the spectator side of the main sign. But it's making with the front, with the what is called the front side, the track side, the advertising side, gone or cut down to the same height as the back side where it says Northeast Dragway, Hereford, North Carolina. The sign looks really short now, especially at the angle that me and Dallas are sitting at.
Yeah, I thought it was much taller.
No, it was an optical illusion.
Huh.
Because it's up there amongst them light poles.
Huh.
It's the same thing down on the end where the Speed Oasis sign is. There's 2 billboards on the clock on the right lane, and there's only 1 on the clock on the left lane. And the one on the right looks like it's 6-7 feet taller when you look down there because you can see the sign.
Huh.
And the other side has just got 4 posts sticking up where the sign should be.
So it looks shorter.
So it looks shorter.
Well, I noticed they also did some asphalt work here in the pits.
Yeah, I didn't even know he had done that. I need to ask Curtis. That's happened in like the last 2 weeks.
Huh.
3 weeks.
Well,
But the few times I've been here, because I've only been here twice so far this year, I was working the booth with Miss True Blood.
oh, okay. When's the next points meet?
The 30th, I believe. Let me
30th of May?
check the schedule. 30th of April.
Oh, you have another one within 2 weeks?
Yeah. We had to move some stuff around to accommodate some of the other shows, and we were trying to get out from under the weather in the hot part of the year a little bit.
Right, and that's a lot of the AHRA stuff is spread out throughout the year to get away from the early springtime weather, which
Right.
always seems to nab us.
Exactly. All right, let's see. I should know this off the top of my head. Okay, so next weekend we got Brock Promotion. That'll be Friday the 15th is the elite qualifying or elite testing for the 10-5 guys. The next Saturday is Brock Promotion's Baddest of the Bad. The weekend after that is Rambo's Spring Fest, I think he's calling it. And then the 30th is the next points race. And then the Twin Nickel will be on May 7th. So I got about 3 weeks before that race.
And the Twin Nickel is a points race or no?
Twin Nickel, That race is expensive to get in because it's a $25,000 event.
Oh, right.
And I'm going to give them the option. If the racers, and I'll ask the question out on Facebook and let them all vote, and I need to hear from everybody that's in points. If they want to make it a points race, we can. But I don't want anybody to feel like I twisted their arm and made them come to it.
Especially since it's an expensive race.
Exactly.
So that it would, you don't want it to be counterproductive for you guys that are just in points.
Exactly. Or don't want to spend it that way right now, with the gas prices and
right.
really with the part shortage that's going on and all that, we're dealing with a lot of stuff in the industry right now. We really are.
Well, I imagine Speed Oasis is rough because that's all you guys deal with is logistics, part stuff, right?
Exactly.
So, and then slicks just went up, what, 20%?
At least. Got the Dear John letter from Hoosier on that one, and I'm sure Mickey's not far behind.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and then Goodyear already had their stuff marked up 10 years ago. It'll go up even more.
Right. It's just one of those things. We'll get through it. It happens periodically. So we'll stay positive, do what we can.
Yeah. Continue watching YouTube.
Continue making YouTube videos. It's been like 3 months since I put one out. So I've just been so busy, trying to get the season started and all that stuff. And working buku hours and then the family and all. It's just
juggling too much stuff. Well, I took 2 months off from doing videos for Mr. Rotter's Neighborhood.
Right.
And I was actually getting the season planned out, scheduled, all the events figured out, what order to do them in. And then working with John Wilburn for the No Name Nationals.
Right.
Which is taking up an immense amount of time that I had.
Welcome to race promotion.
Well, usually this is what I do, right? But usually it's not to this extent.
It's not to this level.
Yeah,
you're not this down in the weeds.
Well, okay, so this race is not a drag race. It's more or less a YouTube content creator trade show with some drag racing and burnout contests and weird, crazy, zany stuff in between.
Some various other silliness and shenanigans.
Right. It was... Because it's a more or less YouTube content creator trade show, and a majority of these guys are not consistent bracket racers or drag racers. They may have been to the track a handful of times,
right? But
a majority of them have not,
right?
And they have more questions and more stuff that you would feel is like normally commonplace that you take for granted with regular. Weekend racers that are there every weekend.
Right.
They already know this. They've been across this. They've done that. Some of these guys have never traveled this kind of distance to come to an event, and they're coming from the western side of Canada.
Right.
To this thing.
Isn't the one guy coming from like Alaska or something?
One dude's coming from Saskatchewan. We have a guy flying in from Australia who bought a spectator ticket this first day. Right, from Australia.
Cool.
So this thing is pulling quite a few people in. There's a lot of worldwide interest on it.
Right.
I just don't want to let anybody down. I think John and I are doing a fairly good job now, and if we continue on this path, I think it's going to be pretty enjoyable for the first No Name Nationals. I'm sure we're going to have some hiccups, but that's the kind of things that you normally have when you have the first of, and then hopefully you don't have them again on the second of.
Well. I've worked with a lot of different people in the racing industry, and I do have to say you are one of the easier ones to work with.
But you try to put yourself in the other person's shoe, right?
And you kind of go about it the same way I go about it. How can we help each other?
Right.
What's the benefit? What can we do for you as well as what can you do for us?
Right.
And that's how not just gimme.
And that's a business relationship. That's how it's supposed to work.
Exactly.
Because without you, I couldn't do business. You without me, we wouldn't be doing the business.
Exactly.
Right. So that's how it works.
And it does help to have a sanctioning body involved. It makes people more comfortable with the safety. And
I think so. I heard that twice today, matter of fact, from the racers.
Yeah. I had one tell me, and he swore he would never come back again when we dropped our previous, or I shouldn't say dropped, when we parted ways with our previous sanction. He said he'd never come here again. And then I ran into him a year or two later and asked him about, hey, what's the chances of you coming back? He said, you got a sanction yet? Today was the first day he'd come back.
Oh, really?
And he told me, he says, I don't know nothing about the AHRA, but hey, it's a sanction.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we're just small. That's all it is.
We're growing.
Yeah.
Man, it was really starting to get cold out there, so we decided to go ahead and wrap it up. stopped the video a little more abruptly than I wanted to, so I'll finish it out now. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that interview. Not really an interview, just two guys hanging out at the track talking. Me and Dallas have been trying to do something like this for a while, and his many trips to the track. It's the first time we'd really had an opportunity to do it. We were sitting there working the AHRA booth and talking and watching the race and doing what we needed to do. Turned out to be a very nice race. Congratulations to all the winners. Thanks again to all of our sponsors, Daniels Boat Works, Kelly Automotive, Tri-County Forklift, Speed Oasis. Thank everybody that came out. Thanks to everybody that participated, and we hope to see you for the next points race, which will be on the 30th of April. Until next time, practice your skills, learn a new one. Either way, turn them into craftsmanship. You never know how far they'll take you. Until next time, this has been Fab Race Mod Repeat, formerly coming at you live from Northeast Dragway, but now back at the shop in front of the computer, finishing up this video. Have a great day.